Welcome to another windshield survey for Geography of Brockton, Discovering Brockton. We are at the parking lot of the former Shaw's Distribution Center in East Bridgewater, which has been off and on for rent for a long time. I think they have finally repurposed most of this property, but there still is a rental sign here. This is where Harvey, who was on our previous outings, did a lot of his driving practice as a teenager. So we're here because we're going to tell a story on our way into Brockton. I think this will be our last for the semester, maybe. We're going to just tell a story that actually began here in East Bridgewater on a dark and stormy night about 5 years ago. So we're going to turn here by our friends Corinne and Scott and Miranda and Maya, good friends of ours for a long time, and we usually have our holidays together. So I'm going to show you their house. I'm going to insert a little still photo from their house later, but first, across from their house, I've always coveted this little camper. Has always been across the street. But their house is this white and green house, historic house. There's a little globe there in the front yard that I created, and I'll be talking about that sometime later. But we're going to turn up Thayer Street, which is where this story took us on Christmas Day evening about 5 years ago. And Harvey is back in Chicago, so our cinematographer today is Pamela Hayes-Bohanan, librarian and Spanish instructor extraordinaire at BSU, and she is recording this for me today. It might have some things to chime in or might not about this story we're going to tell, which is all about the importance of knowing a language, or the value of knowing a language. So we were at our friend's house. We usually have 3 families together for the holiday. By the way, we're still in East Bridgewater. We'll be driving into the city of Brockton. You'll notice the same kinds of transitions that we usually notice. We might catch the Welcome to Brockton sign at some point. And so what happened was we were in having our holiday meal, and somebody came to the door. A woman, more or less my age, middle-aged woman, who spoke no English. She was speaking Portuguese, and the other people in the gathering with us realized that I would be the one who might be able to understand her. And so I was brought out to come meet with this woman. And what had happened is that she'd been going door to door looking for some help here in East Bridgewater and not finding it, not finding anybody who spoke Portuguese, and also she was very agitated and a bit scared because she was trying to find help getting to Brockton Hospital. So some people would only understand that part and would panic and offer to call the police, which she also did not want to be involved with the police. I never asked her this, but I'm guessing that her documentation status might not have been in order, and even if it was, she might just not have wanted to deal with that. What had happened is she had gotten off Route 24 coming from Boston south to have a holiday meal. She'd gotten off at the wrong exit and ended up lost in East Bridgewater. And she did not need to go to the hospital for medical reasons. It's just a landmark that she knew was near her family, and that's where they were going to meet her. So she was looking for help in that way and not finding it as she went door to door, on a Christmas evening. So I'm kind of remembering, Mary and Joseph and looking for help on Christmas evening.
And as I remember, she said some people wouldn't even open the door at all.
Yes, and I totally believe that. So she was quite nervous, and she's an African person in one of the whitest towns in the area, and I don't think that was helping her level of comfort either. And so she was astonished to find somebody who had actually visited Cape Verde, and so we got her calm, and we realized that our friend Corinne works at Brockton Hospital, that she knew the way, obviously, she works there, and that she could help her get there. So she was in her own car, so we decided that we could follow Corinne. I would ride with her to make sure we didn't lose Corinne. Corinne would lead the way. Our friend Lisa would ride with us just so she wasn't getting a man into her car at night for who she had never met, and so we made a little pilgrimage, as you could say, into Brockton that evening. Near the by the end of the ride of a few minutes, she had her level of excitement had come down. She was doing okay, and we were able to get her to the hospital parking lot. She mentioned that she had family who were connected to Bridgewater, and one of them, a young man, came up to the parking lot just as we got there. She'd been on the phone with him, so he couldn't come find us. I guess that was a possibility, but we didn't think of that. So he found us at the hospital. That was the easiest thing. And once he found us, as soon as he thanked us and went away. And right after that, I realized I should have given him my card to maybe find out who at Bridgewater was connected to this story. And we were coming up. I was just checking the GPS to make sure, because Corinne did this way, and I was just making sure a familiar street is coming up. This has all been in East Bridgewater. We're coming up here to Elm Street, which will take us in closer to the city. I was getting a little bit concerned about that, but you can see, like a lot of these neighboring towns, this is very rural. Here's Beaverbrook Farm on Elm Street, and I did check the map earlier. This is one of those areas of Brockton where I think I am never really going to be qualified as a Brockton area geographer, because I get myself confused sometimes on these streets, but I think we're back on track here. And you can see the the stone walls that are very common in much of southeast Massachusetts, or actually all of New England. These walls were historically formed just for farmers to get stones out of their fields so they could plow. Sometimes they were used to keep animals out of the fields, but it was mostly just to get the stones out of the way. And then eventually they became a status symbol, but they were originally just a lot of work. So we're now on Thatcher Street. This is kind of a low density development coming up here. There's a big landfill off to the left with solar panels on it, another bright field installation, I guess you'd say, and some auto body, auto sales, auto work kinds of things. This kind of commercial spaces that need a lot of land, so they're kind of lower value per acre. Very important businesses, kind of on the edge of any city you'll find this. And we are going to continue on this for just a little bit, and we are going to take a kind of a surprise, I think is a surprising shortcut. You can see more of the landfill over there off to the left. Lots of agglomeration here. If you're looking for used auto parts, this is the place to do it. By agglomeration, I just mean businesses of a similar kind. They find it best to be located near each other. There's a little competition, but it also means people using that business will know where to go. And we are I have not found a city sign per se. Something has changed here. This is a lot more spread out, and we are about to take a turn into a place we have discussed. We didn't get to visit this in person, but this is the grand Boulevard entrance of Massasoit Community College. It has two of these double driveways, and here to my left there is a lawn that's closed in, and then just past that is a meadow. an area where they mow around the edge, but in the middle they allow wildflowers to succeed and to grow up, and they would maybe mow that once a year. And the advantage of that is that it attracts a lot of pollinators, butterflies and bees and things like that, that are beneficial insects. This is the administration building of Massasoit, and we'll just drive around the campus. There is a bus here. I am not sure exactly how the campus is being used. I can't remember what Joya said to us about this, but they have a design that's kind of like the campus where Pam and I were undergrads.
My appointment's in less than 10 minutes.
Okay, yeah, we're almost there. The campus has parking around the outside, and then all the campus buildings are on the inside, and they're just labeled by the name of the use, like A for art, SC for science, and things like that. But they have all the parking on the outside to make it, a very good pedestrian area on the inside. And this is kind of the back way into Massasoit, and we're going to exit Massasoit. Something's going on here that I hope we are not caught up in, as we have an appointment. I'll have to ask Joya what this was about. It almost looks like a graduation or something, but this is the second week of November. I have no idea what's going on over there, but the police are directing traffic around. And I have no idea. Maybe it's a funeral procession. Everyone has their lights on, but it might be because it's raining. And they are letting kind of a parade of cars go one direction without letting the rest of us through, which is not good for Pam's appointment. But we are we're just a couple minutes away from Brockton Hospital. So insert here any thoughts you have about our recent conversation with Massasoit Community College. And I cannot imagine why they won't give us a little break here. There are about 10 cars here waiting to get through, but an unlimited number of cars passing. Grr. Well, I think actually you can press pause on that. Okay, well, we found out what that was. That was, we just paused the video for a minute because we weren't sure how long we would be stuck there. Wasn't much longer. We found out what that was. That assembly was for COVID testing. So they are managing their COVID lines as drive up. And so they're managing it through their parking areas. So that's what that was about. We emerge here, and I think in one of the most surprising kind of intersections. We leave this kind of very rural or looking campus, kind of a typical campus of a lot of suburban campuses, and it's right actually in the city. So that was Massasoit. This is the north entrance, the more commonly known entrance to Massasoit Community College is just through this intersection. at Crescent Street and Quincy Street, or Quincy Street. And to the left, that big parking lot is where, in New England, we described where things used to be. This was Christo's Greek restaurant. It was a very popular restaurant that when the family decided they were done, they just turned it into a big hole in the ground. They didn't resell the property. You know, a lot of restaurants change, the building changes hands and that sort of thing. They just eliminated it, and it surprisingly nothing else has really come in there since. And that has been quite a few years. The first year that I taught this class, one of the students went there for his project because it is an example of a different cuisine, different ethnicity. But I never made it there before. Once I learned about it closing, I knew it was going to be too late to try to get a seat in there. And so we are coming past an old school. This looks like a defunct school. And we are coming up on Center Street, which was our destination on that original tale of the poor Christmas evening lost soul trying to get to Brockton Hospital. It is just ahead of us, and it is now an area where we're not going to the hospital, but we're going to a medical office nearby. This whole area is a cluster of medical services. So Brockton's 3 hospitals serve not only the people of Brockton, but are an important resource for the whole surrounding region. And I think this is true in all the gateway cities, that you have this kind of service, this kind of higher order service, like medical specialties, medical offices that come in. And we are almost there. As soon as we get through this intersection, which I could tell that person had a different, grew up with a different interpretation of what a yellow light means than I did. And so we are now here. There's Brockton Hospital off to the right, and we have arrived.